You're watching Good for the Game TV. You're live. It's time for the Handicap, a rugby chat that matters. It's the show where we talk rugby and we talk rugby betting, because at the end of the day, that is a rugby chat that matters, especially coming into this Rugby World Cup here. We've got about 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks to go now. Can you believe it? I have got a bit of a time lag, but the live guests will be coming in. Good to see Peter Paul already on there. Nico Olivier saying hello to us. Good to have you gents on the show. Look forward to your contributions throughout. As you came over, you may have heard the voice of a familiar guest, someone who hasn't been on for quite a while. It is, of course, Oracle Rugby. I'm going to introduce him and the rest of the panel in just a second. Before you do anything else, though, if you are new to the channel, please do go down below and hit the subscribe button. On tonight's show, Currie Cup Final. We're going to be talking Free State against Golden Lions. We're going to be talking Japan against South Africa. We'll have a look at all the other internationals, and we'll see if the boys have got anything for the Mitre10 Cup. We do want to finish the show by midnight, so yes, we probably won't be going into too much detail, but we'll see what the guys fancy. Let's get on then and introduce you to the panel. And I'm going to start with a man. He looks a bit hazy in my top right corner, but great to have him back. A lot of demand for him, I must tell you. The guys on last week's show were saying, where's Oracle Rugby? We need him for the Currie Cup Final, and he's answered our call. Oracle, good to have you on the show.
Yeah, how's it, Brent? Welcome, everybody. Yep, thanks very much. I'm on the show. Here I am.
And tell me something, with Oracle, without giving anything away at this point. Are you in pretty aggressive fashion this weekend? Are you going to have a bit of a strike, or are you sort of tiptoeing into the Currie Cup Final, so to speak?
Well, it's just one of those tournaments where I've already had a go. Anyone who's been watching the Currie Cup outright betting would have realised that, you know, if you wanted to back any team, you could have actually gone over around about 3 weeks ago. At worst, because every single team has been priced at over 5-2 at some point. So yeah, I'm already on the line. So I got them at 9-2, 4-1, but a 7-2. I didn't back them to win the tournament last week. I just had a minus play on the game against the Griquas. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game. I'm not. There's no granny's pension this week. It's certainly going to be a match. It's going to be a nice one.
Dipping into Granny's savings account. Pierre Killian, who contacted me today, he had the unfortunate thing of actually being banned in the country where he's in from all the sports betting sites, but he's managed to get around that using a bit of a VPN. Let's introduce the rest of the panel now. And down in Cape Town, it's Henrik Swart. Henrik, good to have you on the show. You're looking forward to this Currie Cup Final, even though you and I were both hoping we'd be in Kimberley.
Yeah, Brent, it would have been nice to be in Kimberley, but yeah, it didn't work out that way. I lost on the Griquas again. They cost me 2 weeks in a row. And the Lions, they've been an expensive team for me. I've obviously called them wrong throughout this Currie Cup, most of the Currie Cup. They cost me a bit of money. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the final, and I've still got a nice ticket from before the Currie Cup started. And I'm looking forward to the internationals and the Mitre10 Cup as well for this weekend.
Excellent. Yeah, there's some great international. I didn't realize how many internationals they were. I kind of thought, oh, well, we got Japan against South Africa, which, strangely enough, taking place on a Friday our time. But yeah, having a look at the fixture list, there's quite a bit there. And I see Southpaw, we'll talk about his tip later on in the Ireland v Wales game. But let's go down to George in the Cape. I'm just going to call it the Cape because I keep on forgetting Western or Eastern. And it's Couch Critic. Couch, it looks like you're growing a little bit of a beard there, lad. You must get out the house.
How's it, Brent? Yeah, luckily not a lot of people get to see me, so I can pretty much do what I want on the couch at the moment. So it's good to join you guys, and nice with the controversial figures we've got tonight. It's nice being the quiet one tonight.
Excellent. Well, quite a few people messaging in and saying we could keep the comments up because it actually hides your mug, but no, we won't do that. But good to have you on the show, Couch. And I mean, just a quick one before we get into the rugby. Massive weekend for the Volta.
Brent, you just can't go without talking a little bit of cycling there. No, it's obviously big, and it's nice in the Volta. There's almost no such thing as a boring sprint stage, so it's also always good fun. Even today, always nice to see them go up those steep ramps. Huh?
Excellent. Well, guys, let's get straight into the Currie Cup Final. And Couch, let me start with you here. We got the Free State Cheetahs up against the Golden Lions. Like Oracle has touched on, I mean, there's been tremendous volatility in the markets. At one stage, we thought we were onto a good thing with Griquas. I'll ask Henrik when we get to him. I actually do have some money on the Cheetahs, but I can't remember the price. At Henrik, there were 3 teams he tipped up front. So I've got something on the Cheetahs riding into there. We got the final in Bloemfontein. The handicap early in the week, I saw some -5.5 cheaters. That handicap appears to have shifted out, but it hasn't moved for the last couple of days. I've seen -7.5 at World Sports Betting. I haven't really had a good look around there, but I get the impression that this handicap is not going to move a lot before the game. My question to you is, are you strong one way or the other, or what else do you fancy?
Brent, I'm just glad you guys didn't book the party bus as you guys were thinking about this time last week. I told you to hold off there, but Hendrik's, I think you got him at 12-1 was Hendrik's pick on the cheaters, if I'm not mistaken. So that was 15. So that was a very good price. So that's it's a nice ticket to be onto. But I'm pretty sure Hendrik has got no cover on the Lions, and it's not his style to start taking cover at this stage. So he's definitely going to be firmly in one camp. I started off this morning. I sent my preview, and I was actually thinking about going for a little bit of value and thinking the game might go along the lines of the same game when these two met in the normal stages. So I thought a value play of, I think it's about 10-1 on Cheetahs to lead at halftime and the Lions to come back and sneak it. I know the Lions have actually started well in the last couple of games, and the Cheetahs have finished well, but I just think it's in the Lions' nature to come back in that second half, and I think that's a nice little bit of value. But the more I think about it, the more I look at this Cheetahs team, the more I'm starting to err on the side of Hendrik there. I've obviously seen Province and looked at the team sheet and got blown away by that, or got carried away by that, and it's probably a mistake, and I could do the same with the Cheetahs, but to me, it's a class outfit. Oxenchae and Joe Dweba know what they're doing, and they have a great impact up front. Then you've got Ruan Pienaar, who just showed his experience at the back. The team's been different with Domikis at fullback. So Tian Skuman at fly off. Everything's just clicking at the moment, and I must say I'm pretty happy where I am, and I'm pretty happy that I should have the bragging rights over Oracle come Monday.
Excellent. Yeah, it's quite interesting you mentioned Ruan Pienaar, because I've been very impressed with him. I also found your bet interesting because early in the season, the Lions, of course, had the habit of finishing very strong. But as you point out, that hasn't really happened in recent weeks. And in fact, it's been the Cheetahs who've tended to finish the strongest. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, was it the Lions? The Cheetahs, when they met early in the season, the Lions, I think, trailed by 19 points and they came back and won. But the last few games, I mean, including the Sharks semi-final, the Cheetahs have actually come back strong. I'm going to get on to Hendrik to get his pick, because I want to leave Oracle to have the last say here.
Brent, just quickly on that one, the big thing that I'm just thinking about that could be different this week is that for the Cheetahs, it was coastal teams on both occasions there. The Lions aren't going to run out of puff against the Cheetahs. So I wouldn't really take that same kind of form line through there. And then I also think that, I know the Lions have started strong, but as I said, the Cheetahs might come out motivated at home, and then the Lions could say half-time, listen, we've got nothing to lose, and just start flinging around. And that's when the Lions are a dangerous team. And when they do build up a bit of momentum, they're like a Rory McIlroy. When they sink putts, they can sink them from anywhere. So I just think that's a little bit of value, but I must say the more I think about it, the 7.5 handicap is pretty fair, but I'll have to err in the side of the Cheetahs for this one.
Well, let's go over to Hendrik. I see he's having a bit of a chat in the live chat with Pierre there about the points. Hendrik, you reckon probably around the 60 mark. Arnie Durant coming in the live chat saying he can't see these teams going into the shell, and I think you agree there. You're saying, if anything, you're an overs player.
Yeah, Frankie Smith has said in the media they will play their normal game. And I don't think that's just talk. I think they will, because it has worked for them against the Western Province and against the Sharks. They play a nice brand of rugby, and it works for them. That's the Cheetah style. So I can't see them differing because it's a final. And the Lions, they're always a positive team as well. So there should be points in this game. Marius van Westhuizen is the ref. His first Currie Cup Final. And congratulations to him. It's a great milestone for him. And he is an overs ref. He awards a try so easily. He loves awarding the tries, and then the TMOs come in later. But he doesn't. He would rather award a try than not. So he's a great overs ref, and I haven't checked the weather actually, but I assume Bloemfontein's weather will be fine. I think there should be points in this one. The handicap is probably well set. I won't be getting involved, obviously, because I've got money on the Cheetahs to win the Currie Cup at 14-1, which I took before. So that will be my only plan. I'll just hope the Cheetahs will win, and then I'll have a go at the overs on total points and maybe Cheetahs points as well. I think the Cheetahs will win. I've obviously called the lines wrong a few times, and I'll say that, and I have said it, but I think the Cheetahs will win this game.
Yeah, just be a little careful on the weather. I also haven't checked the forecast, but staying here in Joburg, which is 380 kilometers or whatever from Bloemfontein, but we do tend to get the same weather patterns as them. And today suddenly got really cold, and it looks like a bit of rain about. So definitely worth keeping an eye on the weather. Although, it would be surprising at this time of year to find a wet day down in Bloem. Well, a man who's been champing at the bit, I think, to have his say on the game. Hey, Oracle, I didn't realize in the earlier picks the lights improved there. You've taken all your hair off. Have you always been like that?
Yeah, no, I just got a haircut last week. I actually looked quite vicious last week, so you probably wouldn't have had me on your show. So I cut my hair. Right, yeah. Look, I think both of them are right. Look, it's one of those games where, as much as I'm a Lions supporter, and I'd like them to win the tournament, this is going to be a tough game. I mean, we go back 2 weeks ago when Free State played Western Province, losing 33-12. I had a treble that day. Actually, had the Lions minus onto Western Province to win and onto Sharks to beat the Bulls. 8,000 to 1,000, small bet, but I was spending the money, sitting outside with a couple of mates having a beer. I never considered once covering Free State in that game. I thought it was all over, and I've got a small side bet with Han. I don't know if he's told the viewers on your show. After the Lions beat Free State 3 or 4 weeks ago, I gave him, him and I had a bet, Lions and Free State to win the tournament. So if any other team won, it would be no bet. Free State wins, I got to pay him 1,500. If the Lions win, he's got to pay me 1,000. So I gave him 15 at 10, or he gave me 0.67 if you want to look at the other way around. So that he's in the pound seat at the moment. He's at home. The home ground advantage came purely because of the 100 points I scored against Griquas, where no other team was able to do that. But that game against Province showed me that the Cheetahs didn't give up. Last week, a lot of guys at work, a lot of my rugby friends telling me that Free State were great. I'm not convinced after watching last week. I think once they took that Dr. Waterboy, whatever he was, off the field, then they sent on Dylan Richardson, which I've got to tell you, I watched his last year at school. He was fantastic, and he was just sliding around, missing tackles. He was absolutely putrid on the field against the Cheetahs last week. Sharks went to sleep. So, I'm sort of 80% that it was rubbish Sharks at the end, and 20% it was good Cheetahs. So I'm not convinced that the Cheetahs are unbeatable. The Lions obviously went down there a few weeks ago and beat them. I like the Lions to win this game. I like the price. I think it's quite big. You guys are all saying the handicap's probably right. I suppose it's believable. I just feel I would have expected it to be around about the 2 or 3 point mark, not the 6 or 7. So there is a little bit of value in the plus here. I'm not going to be taking any bets on this particular game. As I said, I've got Lions to win at 9-2. I should have listened to Henrik and taken the 14-1 at the start of the season. That was a very good play. Well done, Henrik. I'd be irritated with myself for not telling you to take a bit of the 5-2 you can get just to get your stake back at worst. But look, the Lions can win the game. We know that. As you pointed out, or a couple of you pointed out earlier, they've come back from some ridiculous games. In fact, their first 3 games they came back. The only game they didn't come back against was the Sharks at home in Joburg. Had they won that game, they probably would have been in the final would have been in Joburg. But yeah, look, that's it. This is not a game to go absolutely bazonki in sticking all your money in granny's pension and all of that. Don't do it. This is going to be a good game. I honestly think this will be decided by 5 either way. I think it'll be a close match. I won't be surprised if the Cheetahs win. Franco Smith is not an idiot. Seems to have his head screwed on right. But what I have noticed with this Lions team is they are young. They've got nothing to lose. For a lot of them, it is their first final, and they'll have a go. So this should be a good game. Just to point out one other thing, sorry, before you hand over to somebody else. Ruan Pienaar has been fantastic. Clayton Blommetjies looks like he's found a new lease on life. He was fantastic about 5 years ago. 2-3 years ago, he started to drift off. And this year has been absolutely fantastic. And there's nothing. I've got nothing bad to say about this Free State team. They've been excellent. They've been great. But look, I do think the Lions have. I think the Lions are value. I think it's a 50-50 game, maybe a point or two to the Cheetahs. But honestly, anything 15 to 10, 18 to 10, whatever, even 2 to 1, you can get on the Lions. It's a little bit of value, but don't get stupid and put huge money on it.
Well, interesting, because I didn't expect to be the most bullish guy on the show here, but I've actually probably got the firmest opinion on this game. I reckon the Cheetahs are good things here. I like the -7.5. I'm quite happy to take that. I was very impressed with them against the Sharks. And bear in mind, last week I was actually on the Sharks. I was on the +4.5 and on the over 26.5 points, which thankfully I had a bit of a reckless bet, because up until that point I'd been picking all the wrong Mitre10 Cup games and that to bet on, and I had a real go at Sharks over 26.5. So I was very relieved when that Cohen Bosch try was allowed. But I was just very impressed with the way the Cheetahs clicked into gear in that second half. And also, I think, the Cheetahs are building at the end of the day to Pro 14. Other teams are tapering down towards the end of the season. I'm expecting the Cheetahs to win this. I'm not saying it's not going to be a competitive game, but I am expecting the Cheetahs to pull clear and to win this well. And I actually like, it's one of my firmest opinions in a while in a Currie Cup game. I like the -7.5 Cheetahs here. Anybody got any, are you going to talk me out of that, Gav?
For an even 500, Brent, you can have 6.5 from me.
Excellent. Thanks very much. Well, true to form, it's 15:15. I'll probably disappear for a couple of seconds, guys, because my sound is going. I have I've got a solution to this that should be in play by next week. For now, though, I'm going to go and try and connect to my 3G. So I'm going to leave you guys to talk about it. Well, let me first of all go to Couch and say, Couch, anything that you spotted on the try scorers front or anything in this game before we go into Japan against the Box?
No, Brent, in a final like this, I'm not too worried about who's going to score tries or whatever. I'm just worried about the result and how they're going to get there. So it's not that much. The one thing I do want to say for people who are on the Lions, I mean, the big thing, and I said it last week and I called it quite early, is, you can't really win a knockout, and you definitely can't win from behind if you can't dominate the set pieces. And that was a big problem for Frikwas there. Is if you're struggling at scrum time and you're struggling at the line out, you're not going to win a game. And that's the one thing that the Lions have got down. They play a high risk brand, and sometimes you think they're not using their heads, but geez, with Ori there, whether he's the one stealing or not, he's just got the line out really, really well organized. And at scrum time, no one bullies them. It might be a little bit different with Dylan Smith in there, but I still think they're solid there. But hopefully Cheetahs can hold them in the scrum and not be too unsettled at line out time. So the big thing there is maybe something against your 7.5. Just there is the team might struggle to pull away if they don't have the set phases. Brent, do you want me to continue onto the box and lead the guys into the box?
Yeah. What about any try scorer bets on that? Dwebe perhaps for any time? Have you seen any prices?
No, you're going to get the same price you get during a normal game, and to me, it's just not worth it. It's a final. They're going to kick for poles, so you can't just guarantee they're going to kick into the corner. You never know with these teams. I'm not sure who's going to score first. I'm not exactly sure who's going to score last either, so I'm not even going to go and say take Tyron Green last try scorer or something like that. I'll leave that one for the ball game.
Excellent. Well, let's go into the Bok game there, unless anyone's got anything to add there, because I didn't realize it was taking place on Friday. I think it's 12:15 kicking off South African time, and touch wood, my sound seems to have come back for the time being, so I'll just hang in there. But let's actually start with Gavin on the Box game. Gav, the Box 17.5 early in the week. I've looked around now; it's about 19.5, 20.5. They have picked a strong side. Japan, though, are a fair force to be reckoned with at home. What do you make of this one?
No, Brent, I disagree 100%. I think this is just the Sun Wolves with a couple of other players in it. South Africa can win this game by 40 or 50 with half the team. I think this one's race over. However, it's a friendly, and one thing that does warrant a little bit of motivation for the minus here is that South Africa definitely want revenge on that game from 2015. Sorry, from 2011, when 2015, yes, sorry, where they lost in Brighton, I think it was, or Bournemouth, wherever they played. For me, the minus is definitely a player, but don't go ballistic on it, because it is a friendly, and you never know what Rassie Erasmus wants to do. Maybe pull a few players off, tell people to play a few moves. I don't know. It means nothing to them, but I do think Japan are nothing to be worried about. In fact, looking at that first game in the World Cup against Russia, they've gone and gone taken a handicap from minus 17 or 18 or whatever it was in the beginning, or 19, and now it's in the high 30s. That's definitely going to be looking like a plus for me. I think people are reading far too much into the fact that Japan are at home here. They beat a rubbish Wales team about 3 years ago at home. I don't know. I've got nothing for Japan at the moment. It's a crowd thing. They all wear masks in the stand. They can't even see what's going on anyway because there's so much smog. I wouldn't read anything into this. South Africa will smash these oaks.
Thanks,
I think
Gavin.
it's up to you, Hardy.
Yeah. Thanks for your humble opinion there on that one. Yeah, I don't know. I think I've got it. I think that the handicap is well set. I must say at 20. I don't think they're taking too many chances there on the Japs. I thought it might be a little bit higher, and then I'd get on the plus. At 20, I'm a little bit concerned. To me, there are arguments both ways. The Boxer picked a strong team. The Boxer have got a little bit of revenge. They're not going to look past Japan. I think that's the big thing. If it wasn't for 4 years ago and that result, I would have been on the plus and knowing that the Box wouldn't be taking it serious. It's just a little hit out. In preparation for the competition, but this time around, the Box don't want to be caught with their pants around their ankles, and less than 20 would be pretty much a pretty disappointing performance from the Box. But I think it's well set, the handicap, and I do rate this Japanese team. Remember, it's not the same Sunwolves team that played in Super Rugby. I mean, pretty much the entire national team has been out prepping and running up and down in the heat. So they're the one team that.
Do you remember what the handicap was in 2015?
Yeah,
33 points.
I was going to say something in the 30s.
It was actually it was 40 when they came out. I took the 40, and this is less than half. I'm sorry, this is ridiculous handicap. If this was a real game, I'd be absolutely all over this minus. They got no chance against us.
That's the other thing is I think the Box aren't going to go out and to kill them. To finish them at the end there. I think they might just taper off a little bit. And as I said, I think they're going to be fitter. So I think that the Japs might finish stronger there. So to me, it's just not a big punt game. And I must say I do disagree with you on the Russian game. I'm pretty firm that the Japs will give them a pretty decent whipping. I don't know if you saw some of the Pacific Cup games. Japan were pretty decent there. So I'm thinking not that the current handicaps, but under 30 was pretty much a solid punt there, I think. Hendrik, your thoughts on the game?
They pull tractors in their farms for fun. It's not that easy. Japan, they're too small.
Luckily, it's not a tractor pulling competition. Hendrik, let's go.
Firstly, I just want to touch on the Russia game as well. Gavin said, Gavin, did you see the Italy versus Russia game? I watched the whole game. I watched the Italy versus Russia game. The game Italy beat Russia by 85-15. That Russian team is shocking. Good luck if you're going to take them on the plus. They don't care about the defense. They only made the World Cup because 3 of the other teams got knocked out because of eligibility rules. That Russian team, Japan will win that game by more than 50. I'm pretty confident. I took Japan minus 17.5 early on. I'll still take the minus 37.5 Japan as well. But yeah, okay, that's 2 weeks time. Looking at this game for the Box, this handicap. Yeah, I'm not very. I see a few guys and Gavin being confident in a minus on the Box here. The stuff Jamie Joseph has said has me concerned for Japan. He's looking at the Russia game. He's not too worried about this game, and the Box obviously want to put up a good showing. So that's in the favor of the minus. But the conditions is going to be very tough. So that's in Japan's favor. They're going to play in conditions they're used to. The ball's going to be very slippery, and it's going to be very hot and humid. So I think that plays into the hand. So I'm going to have a small play on the plus here, but the handicap is not going to be my focus. The focus here will be points. I spoke to a few guys earlier this week, and I thought the total points line would come out about 48.5, 49.5, and I would have been very confident to go under. The points came out earlier this evening at 60.5. It's a ridiculous.
I saw that 60. I thought, I wonder what Hendrik.
Way too hard. I've had a massive go at the under 60. The Box, you can take the Box unders, you can take the Japan unders, but the total under 60, it's good. It's the best bet of this weekend. Yeah, I love it.
I also was quite surprised to see 60.5, especially given we know about conditions and stuff there. Just to tell you guys what I wrote the good for the game preview for this one, and I must say the handicap. Yes, I tend to agree with Gavin. If this was a proper World Cup match now, I think we would put these guys away by more than 20 points, and I'd be pretty confident in that. But I am a little bit worried about the fact that it's a warm-up game. But I like Marks to score any time here. Look, it's not a great price. I don't know if there's better available. I saw just over even money, and I've also taken him at 10-1 to be the top try scorer. But I'll tell you what my logic is here, Couch. I think that ultimately the maul is going to be a massive weapon in this World Cup, for probably more so for some teams than others. And I think they're going to want to get that right going in. And I can well see there's going to be 3-4 situations where Marks is at the back of that maul, hopefully in the first half, because I guess he will be subbed at some point in the second. But that's my try scorer. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, no, Brent, that's pretty solid, as you said, and especially Japan is a team that you're going to target with a rolling maul. Not really the biggest forwards. I mean, I've also read some reports there from Jamie Joseph and Tony Brown. They're talking about quick hooks and trying to stay away from the physical contest. So you can try that. That only works for so long. Eventually rugby union is going to lead to that, and definitely the rolling mauls. We can really get some good go forward ball there. And obviously, don't see us kicking everything for poles. We'll be sticking some into the corner, and as you said, try to get that nailed down. So it should be a good one. I don't know who you got the most tries from. Do you mean him to be the Springboks' biggest try scorer in the World Cup, or do you mean the most tries in that game? Because I haven't seen anyone have a market like that.
No. Sorry, I don't. Marks. No. I took first try and anytime try scorer. So first try scorer was 10-1, and anytime
first try 10-1. Yeah. Good. Then, you could consider Bongi for last try scorer as well if you like that kind of play.
Yeah, I see Pierre's gone Bongi anytime at 21-10 because he reckons he probably will get a full 40 minutes, which of course is something I have to give consideration to with my Marks bet, that potentially he won't get the sort of 50-55 minutes that I thought he would. And that underplay of Henrik, I got to admit, I like that as well. Gavin, what are your thoughts on that? 60.5, is that a bit higher than you would have expected?
Yeah, I'm giving the Japanese about 6. I'm just hoping that Henrik is expecting South Africa to score less than 54. I think it might be about 56 or a bit over. I don't know. I'm worried about South Africa running away with it. Sure, if I were you, Henrik, I'd go low on Japan points rather than the total point.
What's the Japan line there? There must be around about 20, 21, Henrik.
I've only seen total points, but looking
if it's 17, it'll be
17. Actually, no, yeah.
It'll be
about 19.5.
It'll be
19.5.
Yeah, but
it's 19.5, huh?
19.5. Okay.
I'll just take the under.
They won't get 19.
Yeah, I'll just. I
won't get 19. You can go under 19.5 with proper confidence. They won't get 19.
Under on total points because the box won't score 40.
Okay, excellent. Guys, anything else on that game? Let's move on to some of the other internationals. We got 2 internationals on Friday night.
No, sorry, I do have one thing to say. Sorry, Brent. I don't know who's watching this show, but I got to tell you that clowns at MultiChoice, whoever organised this game Friday at 12 o'clock, they've absolutely got to not pat themselves on the back. This is ridiculous. Put this game on Saturday afternoon at 12 o'clock or Sunday afternoon at 12 o'clock. What are they doing putting it on Friday? I don't care what time it is in Japan. We're the ones who are paying for this. We're the ones paying MultiChoice, DSTV every week. Start looking after the people. We've got already 3 South African games at ridiculous times during the week. Put the friendly on Saturday or Sunday. What are you doing? I'm sorry. It's a big downs to MultiChoice. Whoever the clown is that put this thing at 12 o'clock on a Friday.
I've got to say, Gavin, I don't think it was MultiChoice, and I think the Japanese people who wanted a Friday night game are going to be a bit disappointed in that attitude. What'd you say, Couch?
I'm perfectly happy with tomorrow at 12. It works fine.
You don't work for a living, man. I mean, the rest of us graft, Gav.
Well, unemployed. Of course, unemployed love it.
But fair point. I mean, it's not the ideal time for me either. But I mean, ultimately, I guess I haven't looked. But I mean, imagining Henrik that's a nighttime kickoff on a Friday night for Japan. So you can't really blame them, can you?
Yeah, it's a quarter past 7 kickoff in Japan. So it's a night game. I don't think multi-choice is they don't do the games. It's probably South African rugby and Japan rugby. I don't know whether it's world rugby doing it, but it's definitely not multi-choice. I know they get the rights, but they don't set the game.
Anyway, we'll move on from that game. But you make a fair point. It's not the best time for the game. Although I don't think multi-choice are probably to blame. Guys, let's go Scotland. Let's quickly talk about the 2 games on Friday night. I'll go to each one of you, and you can discuss each of them. Both games, and then we'll move on. So, Henrik, let's stay with you there. Scotland against Georgia. We got 26.5 Scotland, and England 32.5 against Italy. Anything for you in those 2?
Scotland, they delivered for us last week. They were very impressive in Georgia, and they've made 12 changes to their team. I haven't seen the Georgia team, but it's probably not going to make any difference to me because I'm not going to really know the players. But Georgia, they didn't look very good, and this is at Murrayfield. The handicap is well set for me for Scotland playing a second team. I'm not going to be getting involved in this game. I like the second game better. Well, it's simultaneously, but it's 15 minutes after the kickoff. I like England. Italy, they've made 11 changes to their team. It's like a complete second Italy team. And England, they also made a few changes, but they still got a strong team. I like the England team. It's in Newcastle being played, and the handicap 33.5. I think England will beat this. England, they've got a good defensive system, and I can't see Italy scoring a lot of points here. And I think England should win this by 40 plus.
Excellent. Well, let's go over to Gavin. Gavin, my first thought on seeing these fixtures was, what the hell are multi-choice doing scheduling 2 internationals like this on a Friday night at the same time?
Yeah, Brent, I sat in Twickenham once, and I was talking to the Ike next to me. We were South Africa were playing England, and Scotland were playing somebody else at the same time. And I said to him, why do you guys have the game at the same time? He says he doesn't care about Scotland. They don't care over there. We're just used to it over here. We're used to watching games one after another. They don't care. They go home, they look at the screen, they see 5 different results, they know what happened. They're not worried about watching the game. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just having a look over here on the screen on the left over here. I don't know how strong this team is compared to the one that played last week. But I got to tell you, if I get 30s plus Georgia, look, it's a friendlier game, so I don't get very involved in friendlies. In fact, I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to have a bet this weekend on any of these friendlies. I might have a little bit of a punt on South Africa if I can remember that the game's at 12 o'clock tomorrow. But other than that, no, I won't be having a bet on it. But these friendlies worry me with rugby. They don't take them seriously, and it's a whole thing. But you give me 30 with Georgia against anybody, even New Zealand, I'm taking it. It'll just be a little bit less than what I might go in a very competitive game. But I do think that Georgia plus 30 odd is definitely enough against Scotland. I know they lost by 34 last week, but they're decent. They're not rubbish. That handicap should be closer to 20 than 30. So yeah, I'm on the plus there. I think Italy are absolute rubbish. I don't know. I have absolutely no idea how they beat Russia by 80 points. I think that maybe it was the under-14 Russian team that was playing that game. I didn't see it. But yeah, I'd be on the minus England. Again, it's a free, I can get too involved. Sorry, the other game is...
That's the only one.
New Zealand Tonga. Sorry, I didn't see that. What's the handicap for the New Zealand Tonga game?
Well, let's get Couch's comments on the Friday night games, and we'll come to those. We'll come to the Saturday games and quickly run through them. So, Couch's, give us your comments on the Friday night, and you can run us straight into the Saturday, and then we'll move to the other guys.
Yeah, Brent, I'm just not into the Scotland game. As Gavin said, it's difficult with these teams. There's nothing on the line really. People not wanting injury. It's, squads have pretty much been set there, so there's nothing to gain for me. I'm not interested in that one. England, I agree with the guys. I'll have a little bit on the minus because I mean it's just like a semi-second string England team against the second string Italy, and it's almost like the gap will just get bigger because the second level of England is still much better than the second level of Italy. You know, there's a much bigger drop down. So to me, there's a little bit of value in a low 30 kind of handicap there, and I'll probably look for some try scorer bets for a little bit of fun. You know, someone to score 2 or more tries, like a Johnny May or something like that. So I'll have a little look at something fun like that to keep me interested in that one, and then onto All Blacks and Samoa. I mean, it's pretty much the same argument as Henrik has there. It doesn't help if I see the Samoan team because I probably won't know anyone. But I've looked at the Kiwi team, and it's a proper team. There's I mean, it's just Anton Leonard-Brown, who probably won't be starting at outside centre, but the rest is solid. And Patrick Tuipulotu, who's still sitting in, and then Matt Todd, obviously at 7, he probably won't play there. So it's a very strong All Black team, but we're starting to talk about real handicaps here. You know, 47, 48 again in the World Cup warm-up game. That's heck of a high. But you know, I don't go against the All Blacks even on high handicaps like this. So to me, it's just it's nothing worth getting interested in. To me, I'll have a little bit of a look at a try scorer again, Ardie Sevilla to score 2 or more, or something like that. So that's the only thing I'll do on the All Black game. Which else? Aussie Samoa again. The Aussies made a few changes there. There's nothing that's going to stand out to me on that one because the Aussies don't have exactly a first choice team. Having a little bit of look there, yeah, Tom Banks at fullback, Matt Tamua in the centre. Those are my favourite players. Good to see David Pocock back, so that's going to be big for them. What's the handicap on that one? Aussie,
you got 28 just
28 and a half.
Samoa plus 20 and a half at Hollywood.
Yeah, I think as I said, to me, it's an Aussie team that's a little bit, you know, it's not first choice. So Samoa should be in the running on that one. Again, not going to take a punt. If you had to, I'd probably be focused on. I'd lean to the plus there.
Okay, and then the final game I want you to chat about before we go to the other guys is Ireland against Wales.
Yeah, that's to me the biggest one that I've targeted out of this. This is the only one I'm really gonna watch. It's a pretty decent game, this, because I mean it's a top team Ireland, top team Wales. It's gonna be a bloody good contest, but I just think Ireland can't afford to lose this one. They want to take a little bit of momentum. They're playing at home. Handicap is pretty well set. We know it's usually a close game, either team to win by 7. That's the kind of thing you get in Six Nations. It might be a little bit looser than that because it's warm up, but I still think Ireland half time, full time, to me, that's a value play at even money. Looking at this Irish team, you know, you got Healy, Best, Furlong, the very controversial Klein there. Stander is playing everyone, and everyone's going to look at Sexton playing Aki, Henshaw. Proper Irish team. That's half time, full time Ireland for me.
Yeah, I see Southpaw on the Good for the Game forum says the -4.5. I see you can get just over 9 to 10 there at Sunbet. Let's go to Henrik. Henrik, your views on the Saturday games?
Brent, the first one, the New Zealand Tonga game, I'm not very strong on this. This is a big handicap. So yeah, I'm probably I'll try and watch the game. It's 4:30 kickoff for us in South Africa, and I'll get up for it and I'll watch the game. But I just to see what Tonga's like, because they're playing England first and in the World Cup, and I fancy England on the minus there against Tonga. So I won't be betting on the game. Then Australia Samoa, I like the Samoa plus. It's a decent Samoa team. I like the team they've picked in Australia, obviously. Not the best team, and so for me, between England minus 32.5 and Samoa plus 30.5, it's a toss up for the best bet on the internationals. I think this Samoa plus is a very good bet. And then the last one, the Ireland Wales game. I'm not sure about this one. This is a tough one for me. I won't write the Welsh off. Warren Gatland is a very good coach. I rate him highly. So I hear the thoughts on the Ireland team. But I like to look at coaches more. And I think this is well set, so I'll probably not have a bet on that game.
Right, Oracle, let's go to you for Saturday's games. Anything jump out off the card for you there?
Well, I think the Wales-Ireland game, Ireland-Wales, is fixed. The Welsh let the Irish win the last one. It'll be reversed, so I wouldn't put any money on that. Might flip a coin and have a go, but I wouldn't touch any of that Six Nations stuff like that. They're both trying to hide. They don't want the world to see how good they are or what their tactics are, so I wouldn't touch that game. On that Samoa Plus, I've got to tell you, the right handicap for this particular game should be around about 18 or 19. Considering that it's 30 tells me something. Tells me that somebody knows something about this match. I wouldn't be on the plus here. I would either not have a bet or I'd take Australia minus. The fact that Tom Banks is at fullback should worry people rather than allow them to think Samoa is a better bet here, because that guy's fantastic. I mean, he absolutely murdered me on that Bulls bet. I'll never forget Tom Banks scoring and taking away that game against me. And I've watched him ever since. He's fantastic. Samoa, not too bad either. Look, I don't like Australia. I think they're rubbish, but I've got less to say about Samoa. I think Australia can certainly beat this 30 handicap. I wouldn't be going ballistic on it. It's certainly not my best bet. But if you're going to have a bet on that game, I'd go minus, or otherwise I wouldn't have a bet. And as for New Zealand, I'm sorry, minus, did you say 40-something on that game? I think I saw Brennan Vessels coming on saying 48. I think that's ridiculous. It's about 25 points too low. It should be about 70, not 48. I mean, Tonga are absolute rubbish compared to New Zealand. And New Zealand, quite frankly, could win this game 80-0. The fact that if they don't win 80-0, it'd be 70-0. So it's just because they might, I don't know, run out of time, or, I don't know, maybe a bit slippery on the field. But honestly, New Zealand minus here, Australia minus, Wales against Ireland, England minus, South Africa minus. It sounds like I'm going minuses all over the place here. And Georgia plus, sorry, that's the only one. But honestly, if I spend any money this weekend.
And Wales plus, Gavin, because you like them and they are the underdogs.
What? Wales to win the game.
Yeah, you like them to win the game. Okay. Excellent. Well, that's it. I mean, I must say, I haven't had a good look at these internationals. I do, when Southpaw comes on the forum with a confident pick, I do tend to sit up and take notes. I will have a look at that Ireland-Wales game. And, the plus 30.5 at Hollywood for me, I can't have Australia. But the New Zealand game, I am a little bit undecided. I will say one thing against a really bad team, though, that I take your point. The 47.5 can start looking very small very quickly, because once they start cutting loose against a side like Tonga, things could get ugly. Be interesting to see what conditions are there as well. Well, that brings us, I think, guys, to the end of the internationals. We must just touch on what else we got this weekend. There is top 14. I don't think we'll discuss that unless any of you guys have actually got a bet you like in that. But probably start off with Henrik, the Mitre10 Cup, because that's, as the guys on the live chat have been saying, you've been printing money there, Henrik.
Brent, it's been good for me. It's one of my favorite tournaments, and like previous years, it's been good. Can I just run through the games quickly?
Sure, yeah, go for it.
Okay, yeah. So tomorrow morning, there's two games: Hawke's Bay versus Southland. Southland has been the whipping boys. They lost 80-0 last weekend against Canterbury, and they cost us.
Tell me about that game. I was on Southland over 6.5 points. They couldn't score a try.
Me as well. It looked all right early on, and then Canterbury cut loose. Yeah. Martin McKenzie is back for Southland, so they should be a bit better. But his handicap is big again. It's minus 28.5 for Hawke's Bay, and Hawke's Bay has been good. So I'll probably stay out of the handicap here. But I think Ash Dixon should score again, with it being a high handicap as well. And their maul has been good. He's scored in 3 of the 4 games. Ash Dixon to score there. And then Counties versus Tasman. Handicap about 16-17. Tasman, they've been brilliant. But Counties, they've been impressive as well. So I think this handicap is well set as well. So I'll stay out of this one. Then next one, North Harbour and Waikato. North Harbour, they've been disappointing. They've got the right team sheet, but they've been disappointing. And Waikato, they've been better than I expected. So I'll take Waikato on the minus 1.5 here, away from home at North Harbour in Albany. And then my best bet on the Mitre10 Cup, Bay of Plenty versus Wellington. Bay of Plenty to win the game at 9-10. They have been great. They've got a great scrum. Wellington, they've been very overrated, in my opinion. They were lucky to win last week. So So I like Bay of Plenty to win at home here, and I think they will win well here. I'll also take a few bigger minuses as well here, but I like the 9-10 on Bay of Plenty to win. They made 4 changes to their team, but it's nothing major. I still like the team they've picked. Auckland, Canterbury. Canterbury, they put 8 people past Southland last week, but I like Auckland to win here at 7-10. Auckland at home, and this is my second best bet. I like both these. And then the last one, Otago versus Taranaki. Otago still has the shield, but I think Taranaki will take it from them. But I don't really trust either of these 2 teams, but I trust Otago less. So I think Taranaki, and there was -4 earlier in the week. I think it's gone up to about -8 now. So there has been a lot of money for Taranaki. I'm also on the Taranaki, and I'll take the -8 currently available as well. But yeah, it's my third best bet. I like Bay of Plenty and Auckland better.
Excellent. Well, before I bring Gavin in to ask his opinion, just to mention we are running 2 Super Brew pools. We've got the free-to-play one where the link is below. I need to actually put the link for the Put Your Money Where Your Mouth Is pool. That one will cost you 500 Rand to get in. We're looking for at least 100 guys in, which means we'll play for a first prize of 25K and we'll be 50K in the pot. So that will certainly be something to get us going, even though us punters acknowledge that we don't always do that well at Super Brew. Now, Gavin, let me bring you on. I don't know if you've got any fancies in the New Zealand game. I recall a couple of years ago when you started your videos, you eventually decided, no, I'm giving this tournament a skip.
Yeah, look, you've got to study it. Those with time, obviously clearly pointing out the bottom 2 on the video chat over here. The one on the left, certainly he's got lots of time, and the one on the right is unemployed. He's got loads of time. So, yeah, those 2 guys, they've clearly shown us that you need some time to be able to make some money here. I just haven't put the time in. That's all it is watching the games, looking for the value. I just haven't had the time. So, honestly, whoever's watching this, Henrik's the guy to go to. Follow him. He knows exactly what's going on in the tournament. If you follow him, you will make money. Don't even listen to me here. I've got no idea.
Excellent. Well, I just see Henrik posting on the live chat there that he's going Southland overs. Gee, Henrik, I'm going to have to think twice before I follow you in on that one after their shocking performance last week. But let's go to Couch, because Couch, and as Gavin alludes to, you've got more than enough time to study a bit of form. What do you fancy in the Mitre10 Cup?
Yeah, finally, the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've started to watch a little bit of Mitre10, so it's quite interesting. And I actually think everyone was really pushing it up, as this is, like the country miles. I've watched a few games that really the quality has been shocking. So I'm not too concerned there in terms of New Zealand being so much better than our guys. To me, it wasn't that great, a few of them. And the one thing I'm concerned about, the Taranaki Otago one from this past week, I just think that sometimes the Shield games don't quite go to form and the team is just happy winning it. So I'm a little bit tentative going for the minus there. I'm pretty sure that Taranaki will win, because Otago, they've just got wingers, and you just got 2 good wingers. It's not going to win you a lot of rugby games. But I must say, in a Shield game, I'm scared that Taranaki will just grind that one out and be, happy to kick it out or whatever, and just slow the game down when they 2 or 3 or 4 points clear. So I wouldn't get involved in the bigger handicap now, 8.5. But that early one probably was value. The big thing on Ash Dixon, they're onto us there, boys, though. That's Ash Dixon anytime is now onto 13 to 20. So it's not really any value left on him anytime. So they've caught us there. So unfortunately, the gravy train is over there. And then I'm just in agreement with Heinrich on Bay of Plenty. I think they're superb. They really a very well-drilled team at the moment. So I like them. And again, Canterbury, Auckland. I don't know. I've watched Auckland twice now, and these, they can be almost like the Blues. They can be absolutely horrid. So I'm not really going to part money with on that game, because they can both be poor for two high class apparently outfits. That's not going to get my money that game. I'll stay out there. So to me, it's just Bay of Plenty. And then I'll add a few small minus Tasmans. I just love that Tasman team. I'll back them anywhere against anyone. So a few smaller minus handicap Tasman into a few multiples for the weekend for me.
Excellent. Well, Oracle, hopefully he'll pop back on for the end of the show. I think his connection went there. I haven't had a good look at the Mitre10 Cup as well. Just to mention, Gerard Groenewegen, he couldn't make it tonight. We were going to have quite a big panel on it. Given that we're 49 minutes into the show, I'm actually quite pleased we had one guy who couldn't make it, because it really would have been a long show then. But he couldn't make it. He had his father-in-law's in hospital, so he's gone there. So best wishes to your father-in-law there, Gerard. And if you want to see Gerard's Mitre10 Cup opinions, I'm sure he'll post them on the Good for the Game forum. He posts under Wiesbang. And like Henrik, he follows the Mitre10 Cup very closely, and he's got a very good record there this season as well. So, you can go and on that note, if you go down below this video, you'll see I have put the Super Brew link. I've also put the link to the Good for the Game forum. You don't want to stay away for long from the Good for the Game forum. There's tips all weekend. So go there, click on that, and you can also go and have a look at Chris Sturdy's previews of some of the games, and I've done the preview of the Japan v South Africa game. Guys, I think that brings us to the end of the show. Let me give you each a chance to wrap up with your best bet on the weekend. Of course, we'll be sending out the newsletter tomorrow morning with the best bet. And also an accumulator, which is normally a mixture of all of our fancies. Came pretty close last week, not in terms of legs so much, but in terms of a point or two either way. So let's hope we can pick something up at around the 15, 20 to 1 mark. That is going out every Friday morning. You can click on the link below and subscribe, and you'll get that in your inbox. Let's see what the boys fancy, though, and he's back with us after a quick departure there. Oracle, best bet, please, sir.
Sorry, Brent just tried to read the comments and managed to click myself out. Sorry, that was my mistake. I apologize. A best bet here for me is probably Lions plus. I'd like them to win. I do think it's going to be close. So if you're going to have a decent bet this weekend, take the plus. I'd be wary of the outright, a bit of value there, but I'd like them to win, but it's going to be tough. Other than that, your best bet, honestly, is to keep your money in your wallet for the Rugby World Cup. Don't get involved in these friendlies. It's dangerous. Unless you're following Henrik on his Mitre10 Cup, don't part with any money other than Currie Cup and Mitre10. These friendlies are dangerous. You don't want to get involved.
Excellent. Oracle, good to have you on the show again, and I'm sure we'll be seeing some appearances during the World Cup.
Yes, you will see me. I'm happy to be on. You can call me every day for that. I'm going to be watching every game, even the dodgy ones at funny times during the midweek where we have to work. But yes, I will.
And you're not going to Japan at one stage? You're hoping to get there.
No, I did want to go. But I've got some plans this December for some other stuff. Got involved in a whole lot of other financial stuff this year, so I don't really have any money lying around. I would have liked to have gone. It almost became a reality, but it didn't in the end.
Okay, great. Let's go to Henrik then. Henrik, what's your best bet? And maybe throw, if there's a couple that you're strong on, mention maybe more than one.
Yeah, Brent, unders in the Bok game. Unders on total points. I'm very strong on that. I love it. I would have, like I said, I would have gone unders at about 48, 49. So unders on 16.5 points in the Bok game. And then, I like the Samoa plus, and I like the England minus, and they have plenty to win. But that unders is great in the Bok game.
Excellent. Fat X's is making the point. It was a long show tonight. It certainly was. Boy, but I didn't realize at the start of the week how much great rugby we got to look forward to. Can you believe it? My son is playing a sevens tournament in Brits of all places. So I don't even know if I'm going to see the Currie Cup final. They start at like 5:30 in the morning. You've got to have them at the school, and it goes on all night. So I'm just praying, being Brits, they're bound to have TVs all over the place for us to watch the thing, because I'm going to miss a lot of rugby this weekend otherwise. Couch, finish the show for us I'll finish with my best bet, but what is your best bet?
No, Brent, I'm not going to extend the show much. I'm in 100% agreement with Oracle. Yeah, it's close to the World Cup. I'm not going to waste a lot of money. Couple of it's probably 1.5 to 2 out of 5 kind of star bets for me. So I'm just going to have some fun this weekend. I've got a few long terms running and that kind of thing. So no need for that. I'm waiting for the World Cup, and hopefully we can have a show maybe next week or soon on some of the specials for the Rugby World Cup and some special markets and that kind of thing. So then I'll tell you where all my money's gone. But it's a little bit of Mitre10 Cup for fun. Definitely buy a plenty there. And then after Henry's confidence, I'm going to go on that under 60 as well.
Yeah, I certainly like that confidence of Hendrik. I'm trying to persuade my wife to take money out of our bond to bet on England in the World Cup, but she's not buying it at the moment. But I agree with you. Next week will be a great opportunity probably to look at some of those markets. We'll also make sure you tune in on Monday night, use it or lose it. We don't really focus on the betting angle, although this week's show, we actually did have a look at the top try scorer market. So make sure you go and watch that if you haven't done it yet. And we'll be talking probably quite a bit about the Bok performance and some of the teams going into the World Cup. My best bet, well, I'm sticking with the Cheetahs, -7.5. That's my best bet of the weekend. Having said that, I don't think it's going to be the newsletter bet, because when Hendricks is confident as he is on that points, I think that's going to edge it, but it'll certainly make it into the accumulator. Guys, great to have you on the show. Oracle, good to have you back on. Hendrik, Couch, thanks very much. Have a good weekend. Couch, enjoy the Vuelta. And to all of the guys in the live chat, thanks for joining us. We do appreciate your contribution to the show. Go down below and subscribe if not done, and we'll see you on the Good for the Game forum.